What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some Canadian Heritage Minutes, which are these 1 minute long videos that teach you about important moments and people throughout all of Canadian history. And I find these to be just excellent at teaching these Canadian historical moments that Americans like myself, we really never get taught most of this. We don't know about most of this stuff, so I think this is just the greatest resource for, well, honestly, learning about Canadian history in a really quick, digestible form with these 1 minute videos. So I want to continue my journey today watching all of the Canadian Heritage Minutes. And I want to start with a very special one today because there is a new Heritage Minute. There's a Heritage Minute that just came out. They just created it. I mean, these Heritage Minutes go all the way back to, 1990? Like, wow, 34 years ago now. Yeah. And there's one from 2024 that is brand new. It is called Mary Riter Hamilton. Never heard of her before. I cannot talk. I can only paint. Mary Riter Hamilton painted the battlefields after the First World War. She painted war battles as a testament to its devastating cost. She would suffer mental and physical illness as a result of documenting the experiences of Canadian soldiers. Wow. That's very unique. I've never heard of, an artist, choosing this as their subject matter. I'm sure people have done this sort of thing, but I've never really heard of it. Someone painting World War battles. Did she actually travel to the battles? Was she like a journalist almost? A journalist artist? Is there anything else here before we check out the video? It says, painter who exhibited her works in Europe and Canada. After the fighting stopped, she traveled to Europe. She literally traveled to Europe to paint the First World War battlefield landscapes before they were cleared. Before they were cleared. Does that mean there was literally, dead bodies? Like, soldiers? Still on the battlefield? Smoke? The battle had happened, but it hadn't been clean. She's painting it as it is. I can absolutely see where that could cause you physical or especially mental distress or illness, as they said. She produced 350 works in 3 years, which is a document to the destruction and devastation caused by the war. Wow. Wow, what a fantastic sort of cause she took up here. Let's check out the video.
For me, the end was just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
I felt I must come. If I did not come at once, it would be too late.
Wow.
And these places that are watered with the best blood of Canada might only be names and memories. I see it in the soldiers, the grief I know.
No way. She actually traveled to World War I battlefields in the flesh with her canvas and her painting supplies and apparently her dog as well. Maybe her emotional support dog after all this. And actually set up and painted, the soldiers are still, evacuating. She literally went right after the war ended, I guess, to document this, which is a fantastic, cause to bring awareness to this, to document it, to make it into a form of art, honestly, at the same time.
So intimately. And I will not abandon these men to it.
Wow.
The isolation wears on me. Slowly, the silence takes over, as if my heart has given out of air. I cannot
Jeez.
talk.
Jeez, I mean, talk about a tortured artist. Literally. Kind of self-imposed torture. But I love that she did this. This is a fascinating story. That's really cool. Because, yeah, again, it's like no one forces you to do this kind of thing. You have to be passionate enough to get up and travel to another country, paint it, bring awareness to it. What a unique story. Yeah.
I can only paint.
For more than 2 years, Mary Riter Hamilton painted the battlefields of the First World War,
Wow.
creating an unforgettable visual record of service and sacrifices at immense personal cost.
Wow. I also want to point out maybe one of the reasons they did this new Heritage Minute about World War One. I'm thinking this was intentional. That we just had Veterans Day in the United States. I think in Canada it's Remembrance Day. Honoring our veterans and military service members, past and present. And this one very much kind of touches on that subject of honoring, documenting, remembering this war, and all of our military members. So that's really cool. I think the Historica Canada, who creates the Heritage Minutes, I'm thinking this was very intentionally for Canadian veterans on the Remembrance Day, which was only a few days ago. So that's really cool, I think. And speaking of that, we have another one that's actually sort of in the same vein, I think. It's called Home from the Wars. After World War II, veterans confront a politician about the lack of shelter, launching the construction of 10,000 units of veteran housing. You couldn't be more on the nose than this one. If that last one was for Remembrance Day and veterans, this one is just as much, if not even more. This is literally a Heritage Minute addressing veterans, well-being and making sure they have housing. Yeah. Is there anything else on this? Housing. Canadian housing takes many forms. Okay. This is literally teaching me about houses. And no, that's not exactly what I was thinking. Construction averaged only 39,000 units during the Great Depression and war. So is it kind of alluding to some kind of housing shortage that made it so Canadian veterans had trouble getting housing? That's so sad that, we have to I think it's good, especially here in America, we try to do this, is there's government resources and efforts and causes specifically for trying to help veterans. Because obviously, on a fundamental level, these are the people that literally fight and die for your country, your freedom, for me to be able to sit here and watch some YouTube videos for fun, and to learn. People had to, pick up themselves off their couches, travel across to another continent with guns, never knowing if they'd see their families or home again, and then get injured mentally, yeah. The mental damage war has caused to so many people as well. PTSD, people, let alone dying in war. You can't overstate how important the veterans are. You just can't. So it's actually really cool to read about this Heritage Minutes. That's literally about fighting for veterans' housing and veterans' rights, and this sounds good.
Please, if you'll just listen to me, the government is doing absolutely everything that it can. Mr. Minister!
I've heard that one before. Is politics the same in Canada? I swear. that line. I swear the government is doing everything it can. Everything. Okay.
The government is doing absolutely everything that it can. Mr. Minister! Every one of these men and some of these women have put their lives at stake for this country. And some of them have come home to, well, well, they've had no homes to come home to.
Right.
Is that any way to treat citizens that have gone through what we have gone through?
Oh my God. This is a powerful one. And you know what's sad? It shouldn't even take a veteran, a war hero with a half melted off face, a half scarred face. It shouldn't take that to jog your brain and for politicians to be like, all right, maybe you're right about this. I'll put more consideration into the veterans' housing. It shouldn't even take this. Just on its face, it should be enough just saying, hey, I think veterans need more housing. Like, they're homeless. These are the people that fought for our country. If anyone deserves some government assistance, you could say, you would think that would be some of the people who deserve it. Geez, I wasn't expecting the whole scarred face reveal. That was, this is kind of disturbing, shocking, but obviously that's the point. Oh.
Minister, what about low-cost mortgages?
Mortgages? These people don't even have a down payment.
We could reduce the down payment to a token level. Call them over.
I've just had an idea, but I need you to help me get their attention.
Within days, an order in council boosted veteran housing to 10,000 units and launched the country's post-war boom. The sheer moral force of the returning vets had prevailed.
Yeah, I mean, again, really, I mean, that's a cool Heritage Minute, and it's really the veterans having to stand up for themselves, which is that's really cool and powerful. But again, I gotta say, a little bit sad that the veterans even have to fight this hard, like to get some assistance and housing. But it sounds like in the end, the government saw it their way and realized how important that was and launched this huge 10,000 home initiative. That's awesome. I did not know about that part of Canadian history. That's cool. All right. And finally today, let's take a look at Sir Sandford Fleming. Never heard of him. An engineer who planned 3 railways plays a pivotal role in the creation of standard time. Wait, he's an engineer. He made railways and standard time. What is standard time? Like standardized time? Like everyone being like all of our clocks being the same, even if you're like, oh, this country is 6 hours ahead. This part of the United States is 1 hour behind, and like that. But we all read the clock the same hour. Is that what we're getting at here? Standard time. So he invented that? A Canadian invented that? He was Canada's foremost railway surveyor. He's a railway engineer and surveyor. And he's also an inventor and scientist? Okay, this guy, Sir Sandford Fleming, he is something else. Holy cow. He studied science and engineering. Yeah. And then he invented standard time? Apparently. Oh, okay. Let's see the Heritage Minute. What is it? What else did he do?
But the expense.
And I say we'll use standard gauge, standard steel rails and iron bridges on the intercolonial.
Nonsense.
We're not just building a railroad, gentlemen. We are building a country.
Is that him? Oh my God, what a character. Where is he from? Is he Canadian? What is that accent?
We're not just building a railroad, gentlemen. We are building a country.
Patriotic rubbish.
Oh, but we just stop that. Boy. Come on, Owens. And Roberts, look at this, huh? Between Halifax and Toronto, there are 5 different time zones. It's ridiculous. Oh, with the railway and the electric telegraph, what the world really needs is a system of standard time zones. But sir,
how is he just... I love this guy. I love this guy. I didn't know about him until 3 minutes ago, but I love this guy. Sir Sandford Fleming, or I don't know. I hope he was really like this. Cruising off on his little railway cart. Canada's changing, gentlemen. We need standardized time. Like, what? He's just walking. It's just a day's work for him to build a railroad, come up with a revolutionary standardized time schedule, all in a day's work, I guess.
Cities set their own time by the sun. They'd never agree.
Well, we'll have to make them, Roberts. Make them understand. Even if it takes years.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Mr. Sandford Fleming of Canada, to whom the world owes the invention of standard time. Mr. Fleming.
He surveyed and engineered 4 Canadian railways and transformed the world with standard time. Sandford Fleming, engineer.
Whoa, what is this award he's getting? He's clearly receiving. I mean, if you invent standard time, does that, I mean, you deserve something. I don't know if it's like a Nobel Peace Prize, but he's getting some kind of recognition 15 years later. I had no idea that a Canadian invented standard time zone and like how our time zones work. That's pretty cool. Also, incredibly random that a railway engineer did that. I guess sometimes if you just are someone who is smart and achieves success in one field, you can do it in others. And he seems like kind of a fun guy. And with that, that's the Heritage Minutes for today. I really enjoyed these. I also thought this was a good little sort of alluded to some Remembrance Day, some Veterans Day support here with at least 2 of these Heritage Minutes, which was really cool and very timely since that just happened. Yeah, and this last one was fun as well. Lots of Canadian history I had literally no idea about. Always really fun to check some of these out. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these Heritage Minutes here today. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.